Hey everyone, Adam Nitti with you again. Today I want to work on making your bass lines more interesting. We're going to focus especially on 16th note subdivisions because they can provide some really cool syncopation and some really cool space. And of course, as bass players, we are responsible for being the foundation of the time, and rhythm is a massive component of what we do. I've got a drum beat on the computer. I'm going to play just quarter notes on a G, 3rd fret E string for starters, just to establish where the time is. 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, easy enough. So I'm playing the full duration quarter note, so there's no space in there because I'm filling up each beat with that quarter note. Now let's count the 16th note subdivisions so we know where each of those notes lies. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. We want to know where each of those notes are so that we can displace the 16th notes in our lines to create cool syncopation and interesting moods and feels. So the first thing we want to do is figure out some combinations for a couple different 16th notes within each beat. So this is how this is going to work. I'm going to start by just playing on the first 16th note. So that's just going to be the 16th note that happens right on the downbeat of each particular quarter note. Okay, this is what that would sound like. 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Now I'm going to play on the second 16th note. So this is going to be on the E, 1 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Next we're going to play on the third 16th note. So that's going to be on the and, 1 E and a. 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. The last one is on the fourth 16th note, which is going to be the of each beat. 1 E and a. 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. So let's now get more familiar with the boundaries between each of those 16th notes by playing an exercise where we cycle through each of those individual 16th notes and turn it over and over and over again. This is an example of what that would sound like. 2, 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Now let's move the challenge to the next stage. I'm going to go through and I'm going to play the first and second 16th notes on each beat. And then I'm going to play the first and the third 16th notes on each beat. And then I'm going to play the first and fourth 16th notes on each beat. And here's what that's going to sound like as an exercise. 2, 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. We're only talking about using two 16th notes. You could play all the combinations that start with the second 16th note. You could do second and third 16th note, second and fourth 16th note. The choices are very many. So let's jump straight to the application. So I'm going to take this simple bass line that starts out just as quarter notes, and I'm just moving from G up to the 5 to the flat 7 to the octave. So it's G, D, F, G. And this is what the line sounds like just with quarter notes. 2, 3, 4. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to vary the 16th note rhythm for this line, but I'm going to keep it the same through all 4 beats. But I'm going to vary it with each new measure, okay? And this is an exercise in just trying to become more creative with combining these rhythms. 2, 3E and a 4E and a. Now let's do the same thing, but let's vary the rhythms for each of the quarter notes. So I might not play the same rhythm on each one. I'm going to mix and match them together. And this is where the lines start to influence some neat creativity. 3E and a 4E and a. I just changed it every measure, and it's a lot of fun to play with, because you're pushing yourself to try and play things in a way that is not typical for you. So have fun with this. Practice it with some sort of timing device, some sort of external clock, so that you know you're playing accurate time. But see how you do with this. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video.